Hello, everyone. Before I begin, I would like you to do a simple thing for me. I would like you to close your eyes for 10 seconds and answer the question. Please kindly close your eyes. Think of an activity, a sport, or any art form which you enjoyed doing. An art form which made you forget that time existed. Here's your 10 seconds. Thank you. Please open your eyes. Now, let me ask you another question. Do you still do it? If not, where did that fire go? We always have a fire inside us. And along the way, life happens. We start chasing our ambitions. We start chasing timelines. We start chasing possibilities and other achievements as per the society. So here, I'm going to talk about that fire, the story of the fire, and how I learned to listen to it. Hello, everyone. I'm Archana Thiagarajan, a national swimmer, Indian Air Force veteran, and national freediver. I'm going to tell you about my story now. I come from a small town. I know it's very typical, but still it is what it is. And I took up swimming at a very early age. To say how early and how serious it looks, I'll give you a small example. During my 12th standard, my attendance in the swimming pool was much higher than my school attendance. To further emphasize how seriously I took it, I'll share you a secret vow I took by myself. A vow which I've never shared with anybody during that time. For me, every lap counts. Every repeat counts. Fall behind one lap, I fall behind one medal. Somebody may call it as dedication. Some may call it madness, craziness. But that was my fuel. That is how I kept the fire going. With good coaches and basic amenities, I was able to participate in multiple competitions, took me to the national podium, and before I knew it, there were 350 medals hanging, more than 350 medals hanging on my home, on the wall in my home. Swimming was my first fire. As we move along, the school days ended, and just like every one of us, I used sports as a stepping stone for the next phase of life. I was topping in the national athletes of the Tamil Nadu, and I entered one of the top engineering college through sports quota. And then a new fire started, a blue fire, a fire to serve, a fire to wear the uniform, a fire to be a part of something which was much bigger than myself. I joined the Indian Air Force in January 2014. I chased it with the same dedication and effort. I chased it by joining the NCC, by joining the sports, and I kept myself physically fit throughout my college days. Immediately after my college, I joined the Indian Air Force. Air Force was all about clarity, decision-making, discipline, and responsibility. But more than that, in the early days, it taught me another lesson, humility. I'll share you the story here. With so much of athletic background and physical conditioning, I knew I had it in me. I was very competitive, and I thought my body was ready for all the physical training which will happen during the initial days when you join any defense forces. The training, physical training especially, are very, very strenuous and very intense, and injuries are common. During the mid phase of the training, I started feeling some pain and discomfort. I ignored it. And again, the pain was stronger, especially in my femur, but still I ignored it. Why? Because I wasn't ready to step back. I was flying high. I couldn't take a no. I didn't want to step back, and I didn't want to slow down. I didn't want to listen. So the last and final phase where the training was intense. I was sitting in during my study hour, and I wanted to sit cross-legged. I couldn't lift my left leg by itself and put it over the right. I had to use my hand to put it over. I understood. It has gone numb. It has gone, I had no control over it. The recovery was longer, and it took a lot of patience. But the lesson it taught me, I still carry on. Strength isn't about just pushing harder or forcing yourself. Strength is about listening. After joining the Air Force, I still had my first fire, which I had lit as a young age, during my young age. The same fire for swimming. Whenever I could, I showed up for the competition. Small or big, any competition, I still trained, I still showed up. The fire might have not been glowing bright, but it was always dim, but still it was still burning. That is the phase where sports science entered my life. There I had access to better nutrition, better gear, better equipment, better training regimes. So that is when I started questioning myself. What is this body truly capable of? What is my limit? Where do I stand? Can I make a comeback? At that age, all these questions are privy to a lot of judgments, lot of questions, uncomfortable questions. I was very shy. I couldn't even say it out loud. It was still there, making me restless and making it burn. After completing my short service tenure with the Indian Air Force, serving for 10 years, I took a sabbatical. During my sabbatical, I had a bucket list. And then during one of the bucket lists was enrolling myself for a residential yoga program. And that is where, when I look back, I can really see that's the first time in my life, after so many years, I have actually slowed down. I was always been chasing something or the other in my life. That's the first time I had slowed down and I could listen to myself. That is when so many things which were suppressed beneath started coming up. So many realizations. And that's when I knew and I realized I didn't have age in my favor, neither the time, to keep the first fire burning. It was a big decision. It was a tough decision. It was a painful decision. But in March 2024, I let it go. Not because I quit, not because I gave up, but I knew the fire has completed its job. When I let it go, I didn't feel empty. I felt more clear. My first earning was to serve, and I joined the Indian Air Force. The next earning was to find calm and peace, and I found yoga and freediving. When you want something in life, like when you actually want something in life, there is a saying, the universe makes it happen. Sometimes halfway, sometimes all the way in. Freediving and yoga is not new. Yoga is ancient. And freediving has been existing for so many years. And the competitive side of freediving, people have been competing for all over the globe for long time, for many decades. But even being in the competitive side of swimming and closely associated with water, I have never heard of freediving. I have never heard of freediving, and I didn't know such a sport existed. So that is how universe brought, when I truly wanted something calm and peace, that's how universe met me, through an accidental phone call. One of my bucket list was to travel. So I was accidentally talking to a friend in a phone call to check out the itinerary. And he casually suggested, why don't you try freediving? There's something called freediving, why don't you try it with your swimming background? That one phone call changed the whole pattern, changed my whole direction. One led to another, and here I am standing. For people who are new to freediving, what is freediving? Freediving is nothing but holding your breath and going underwater. You can do it in a pool or in the ocean. No oxygen tanks, no equipments, no gears, nothing. It is just you. You, your mind, your body, and your breath. It's one breath, one descent. There is no audience. There is no opponent. It is just you. The more calmer you are, the deeper you go. Yes, but I learned it in a different way. When I found freediving, I approached it with the same vigor, same motivation, same chasing I've been doing it throughout my life. I approached it with the same steadiness, with a lot of energy and everything. What happened? My kicking was faster. I approached depth very fast. My equalization was not working. Because when you go deeper, the pressure increases. The water pressure keeps increasing. I couldn't face it. What happened? I had to turn back early. That is when my instructor told me, don't chase the depth, let the depth come to you. For a person who has been chasing everything in her life, what does that mean? It was very confusing. Don't chase anything without effort. What can I achieve? It's a simple question, but it was very confusing. Then I sat with the feedback I got. Then I realized, maybe I should stop chasing. Let me try not chasing. That is when I forced myself to do something which I've never done before. Slow down. The next day, I started my day early, and I slowed down from the beginning. Not only for my dive, from the very beginning. Slow down. I did everything with a lot of awareness. With the same awareness, I dove the next day, and my kicking was effortless. I had enough oxygen. I didn't diminish my oxygen by doing effortless things. I approached the depth, and the ocean, and the pressure seemed manageable that time. So what changed? It was how I approached it. Slowing down was easy. When you force the pressure, it creates a lot of resistance. When you blend into it, it might ease off. My heart rate slowed, and I went deeper without even trying for it. That's when I understood what my instructor actually told me. Depth doesn't respond to force. It doesn't respond when you want to fight it. Depth responds to calmness. The more calm you are, the more better you are. Pressure reduces with resistance. If you try to fight it, it is going to fight back. The ocean, when I tried to fight it, it gave me a gentle reminder, no. It wanted me to take it slow. Freediving isn't about going deeper. It's about staying calm under pressure. I still train. I still compete. I still do the hard work. The base effort remains the same, just like for my previous fire. I still work hard. I do everything the same way. But what has changed? The direction and the way I approach it. I no longer dive for medals. I no longer dive for validation or to prove myself. I dive to be in the present and to be calm. All of us are under some pressure or another. It may be relationship, it may be your work pressure, it may be a career pressure, something or the other. So what do? We approach it how I approach freediving, with a lot of pressure, a lot of vigor, and a lot of chasing. Maybe it's time to start, put what I learned in water in the life also. When you approach your challenges with a lot of vigor and without knowing what you're running for, you'll keep chasing one fire after the other. Fire may let you begin, but calm will tell you where it truly belongs. Nothing is Greek to you. if you sit down and pause for a second and find what you truly want, you might find your direction. Nothing is Greek anymore until you earn for it and genuinely make the effort to find it. Genuinely pause, take an effort to find who you truly are. I hope the calm finds you, and remember, calm isn't weak. Thank you.